welcome to Math Advice. In this video, I am going to explain hypothesis testing for large samples. Samples can be identified as small samples or large samples based on its size. Size of the sample is denoted by the letter n. If the value of n is greater than or equal to 30, then we set such type of sample as a large sample. On the otherwise, if the value of n is strictly less than 30, then we say that type of sample as small samples. There are so many tests available to test the hypothesis. For large samples, we make use of z-test to test the significance for single mean, difference of mean, single proportion and difference of proportions. Now, I am going to explain test of significance for difference between two means. Under this test, we have to test whether the difference between the two sample means are significant or not. For that purpose, we make use of this test. So here, I am going to set up my null hypothesis H naught as null hypothesis H naught as mu1 is equal to mu2. That means there is no significant difference between two population means. Alternatively, I am going to set up my alternative hypothesis as that is denoted by H1. It may be mu1 is not equal to mu2, or mu1 is less than mu2, or mu1 is greater than mu2. It depends upon the situation of the problem given to us. So either we have to choose the two-tailed test or one-tailed test. So based on the problem itself, we have to decide whether we have to follow two-tailed test or one-tailed test. So I have to set up the alternative hypothesis. Our test statistic used here is under H naught, Z is equal to x1 bar minus x2 bar over square root of sigma 1 square over n1 plus sigma 2 square over n2. So before we move on to the test procedure, let us have a short look over one-tailed test and two-tailed test in detail. What it means. What happens if it is one-tailed test and if it is two-tailed test? Let me explain this by taking a simple example. Let me take the two popular brands of car batteries produced by the two companies as A and B. Company A producing the car batteries with mean life mu1 using some standard process, whereas company B producing car batteries using some new techniques and gives a mean life as mu2. So here both of the companies producing the car batteries, whereas the mean life of first one is mu1 and the second one is mu2. The first company using some standard process to produce the car batteries, whereas company B uses some new techniques for producing car batteries. Suppose in my first case, if we want to test if the car batteries differ significantly, in such case my alternative hypothesis as mu1 is not equal to mu2. That means if the car batteries of the two companies differ significantly means my alternative hypothesis mu1 is not equal to mu2. Let me take the level of significance as alpha as 5%. Let me show you this by drawing a standard normal curve. It's a bell-shaped curve. This is for the center. So if it is 5%, definitely the critical region falls in two tails. So alpha by 2 is 5% over 2, you get 2.5%. So this is the region alpha by 2 that falls in two tails of the normal curve. That means alpha by 2 means 0.025 in decimals. Here itself alpha by 2 is 0.025. Actually the area under the standard normal curve is exactly equal to 1. That is, it has 0.5 to the left hand side and 0.5 to the right hand side. So for the table value of Z at 5% level of significances, Z is equal to minus 1.96 and Z equal to plus 1.96. So if my calculated value falls in this region, definitely I am going to accept the null hypothesis, or otherwise I am going to reject the null hypothesis. That means this is the rejection region, this is my acceptance region, whereas these two shaded regions are my rejection region. So if it is a two-tailed test, this is a two-tailed test. That means the critical region falls in two tails of the normal curve. Let me move on to the second case. Suppose if the mean life of the batteries produced by company A is less than that of B. In such case, my alternative hypothesis mu1 is less than mu2. Here my null hypothesis, there is no change in my null hypothesis, that is mu1 is equal to mu2, whereas my alternative hypothesis here is mu1 less than mu2. Here I have to say this as a left-tailed test. This gives us a one-tailed test. That means here itself I have to take the level of significance alpha as 5%. So if it is mu1 less than mu2 means the 5%, that is the alpha value, that is the critical region, falls in only one side of the normal curve. That means 5% falls here, that is 0.05. So my rejection region falls in only one side of the curve. So this is my rejection region. The remaining regions here are my acceptance region. Actually the table value of Z at 5% level of significance for this falls in the left side of the, that means the critical region here falls in left side tail of a normal curve. So I have to say this as a left tail test. The rejection region falls in left side of the normal curve. So I have to say this test is a left tailed test. So the value of Z is at 5% level of significance for left tail test is minus 1.645. So if my calculated value falls in this region means I have to accept, or otherwise I have to reject the null hypothesis H naught. Let me move on to the next case. H naught, that is mu1 is equal to mu2. Here I have to take my alternative hypothesis as, suppose if the mean life of the car batteries produced by company A is superior than that of B, then in such cases my alternative hypothesis mu1 is greater than mu2. Here itself I take the level of significance alpha as 5%. If it is like that, this falls the right tail of the normal curve. That means the rejection region falls in the right hand side. That is alpha equal to 5%. That means 0.05. So if the value of Z falls in this region, means we have to accept the null hypothesis. This is my acceptance region and this is my rejection region. So here the critical region, look at here, the critical region or rejection region falls at the right hand side of the normal curve. So we call this type of test as right tailed test. And also the value of table value of Z at 5% level of significance for a right tailed test is Z equal to plus 1.645. So if the values are, if it is plus 1, 0 or if it is negative, something like that, we have to accept, or otherwise we reject the null hypothesis. So based on the problem itself, we have to decide whether we have to follow one-tailed test or two-tailed test for an alternative hypothesis. So it's based on the situation of the problem. So if there is no difference, means we have to take two-tailed test. If there is a difference, that is one is superior or inferior than the other, means we make use of lesser or greater value. Symbols like that. So based on that we have to choose the test, maybe of left-tailed or right-tailed test. So this is how we have to choose the test, that is of one-tailed or two-tailed. Now I am going to explain the test procedure used to test the significance of difference between two means. For that, my first step is I am going to set up my null hypothesis, which is denoted as H naught, which is mu1 is equal to mu2, which means there is no significant difference between the two population means. And my alternative hypothesis H1 as it is either mu1 is not equal to mu2, that is a two-tailed test, or mu1 is strictly less than mu2, or mu1 is strictly greater than mu2. It is a one-tailed test. So based on the problem itself, we have to decide whether we have to follow the two-tailed test or the one-tailed test. Next, level of significance. If it is given, we make use of that, or alternatively we have to choose the level of significance as 1% or 5%. Next, as test statistic as under the null hypothesis H naught, Z is equal to x1 bar minus x2 bar over square root of sigma 1 square over n1 plus sigma 2 square over n2. After calculating this value, let us come to the conclusion. If calculated value of absolute Z is strictly less than or equal to the table value, then we have to accept our null hypothesis. That means there is no significant difference. Or alternatively, if the calculated value of absolute Z is strictly greater than the table value of Z, then we have to reject the null hypothesis, which means that is a significant difference between the two population means. Next, we shall move on to an example and explain the procedure involved in this test in detail. A buyer of electric bulbs bought 100 bulbs, each of two famous brands. Upon testing this, he found that brand A had a mean life of 1500 hours with a standard deviation of 50 hours. Whereas brand B had a mean life of 1530 hours with a standard deviation of 60 hours. Can it be concluded at 1% level of significance that the two brands differ significantly in quality. So next, first we have to write what is given in our problem. Here, a buyer of electric bulbs bought 100 bulbs each of two famous brands, which means he has to bought 100 bulbs in brand A whereas 100 bulbs in brand B. That means N1 is equal to 100 and L2 is also equal to 100. Upon testing these, he found that brand A had a mean life of 1500 hours. That means X1 bar is equal to 1500. With the standard deviation of sample standard deviation is represented as S1. S1 is equal to 50. Whereas brand B had a mean life of 1530 hours, that is X2 bar is equal to 1530 with the standard deviation of, that is sample standard deviation S2 is equal to 60. Can it be concluded at 1% level of significance? Also here alpha is also given as 1%. So we have to test that the two brands differ significantly in quality or not. For that, now I am going to set up my null hypothesis H0 as mu1 is equal to mu2. That means there is no significant difference between the two population means. That means the two brands of bulbs do not differ significantly in quality. This is my null hypothesis. Whereas I am going to set up my alternative hypothesis as H1, that is mu1 is not equal to mu2. This falls under two-tailed test, which means the two brands of bulbs differ significantly in quality. Next level of significance alpha, it is given as 1%. Next we shall move on to our test statistic. Under the null hypothesis H0, Z is equal to x1 bar minus x2 bar over square root of sigma 1 square over n1 plus sigma 2 square over n2. By simplifying, we get the value of Z. For that, let us first substitute the values for x1 bar and x2 bar. Here we get the value of x1 bar as 1500 and x2 bar as 1530. So 1500 minus 1530 over square root of. Now let's substitute the values of sigma 1 square, sigma 2 square. Here the population standard deviation is not given. Instead of population standard deviation, we make use of sample standard deviation. If it is not given, we make use of sample standard deviation value. So S1 and S2. So S1 is 50 and S2 is 60. Square over plus 60 square over, our N1 and N2 is nothing but 100 in each cases. So listen carefully. So if the sample standard deviation is given instead of population standard deviation, we make use of that values instead of population standard deviations. By simplifying, we get 1500 minus 1530 means minus 30 in the numerator over square root of 50 square, that is 50 multiplied with 50, we get 2500 and divide this by 100, you get 25. For the next 60 square, 60 multiplied with 60, you get 3600 and you divide this by 100, you get 36. By adding and making the ratio of this with the value 30, we get 36 plus 25, that is 61. So 30 over square root of 61, 30 over square root of 61 is 7.810, etc. Here I have to take up to 2 decimal places, so 7.81. And you divide 30 by 7.81, you get the total as 3.8412, etc. Here I have to take up to 2 decimal places, so 3.84. So minus 3.84. So our calculated value of z is 3.84. Next, we have to compare this value with the table value. For that, table value of z at 1% level of significance for a two-tailed test is table values for a two-tailed test. This is 2.58. 2.58. So let us now compare this value. So the calculated value of absolute z is strictly greater than my table value of z. That is 3.84 is strictly greater than 2.58, isn't it? So we reject the null hypothesis H0. That means, or alternatively, we are going to accept the alternative hypothesis H1. That means the two brands of bulbs differ significantly in quality. This is the conclusion what we have arrived based on the observation given. Let me show you visually how this value falls in the critical region. How this value. So for a standard normal curve, this is what the center. You know already the area under the curve is exactly equal to 1, that is 0.5 to the left hand side and 0.5 to the right hand side. Since we have followed the two-tailed test at 1% level of significance, so two-tailed test means definitely the rejection region falls in two tails of the curve. So here alpha is equal to 1%, so alpha by 2 is nothing but 0.5%. That means 0.005. So it occupies 0.005 areas on both tails of the curve. The value of z, the table value of z at 1% level of significance is z is equal to minus 2.58 here and z is equal to plus 2.58. So if the value of z falls in this region, the calculated value of z falls in this region means we have to accept the null hypothesis since it is my acceptance region. These two are my rejection region. These two shaded regions are rejection regions. But my calculated value here is minus 3.84, that is approximately here. Isn't it? Minus 3.84. So it falls in the rejection region. That's why we have to reject the null hypothesis. Next we shall move on to another problem. The mean produce of rice from a sample of 100 fields comes to 200 kg per acre. That is N1 given here as 100, whereas its corresponding mean is given as x1 bar is equal to 200. And another sample of 150 fields give a mean of 220 kg per acre. So another sample N2, that is 150, gives a mean of, that is x2 bar as 220. Assuming the standard deviation of the yield at 11 kg for the universe, here instead of the sample standard deviation, here the population standard deviation is given as 11. Test if there is a significant difference between the means of the samples or not. Nothing is mentioned about the level of significance, so we have to take the level of significance alpha as 5%. So these are all the data given in our problem. N100 and corresponding mean x1 bar 200, N2 is 150, corresponding mean x2 bar is equal to 220, and the population standard deviation is given as 11, and alpha we have to take it as 5%. First I am going to set up the null hypothesis H0 as mu1 is equal to mu2. That means there is no significant difference between the means of samples. Alternatively, I am going to set up my alternative hypothesis mu1 is not equal to mu2. This falls under two-tailed test. And then next, I am going to take the level of significance alpha as 5%. Next, we shall move on to test statistic. Under H0, Z is equal to x1 bar minus x2 bar over square root of sigma 1 square over n1 plus sigma 2 square over n2. Here, the value of sigma 1 square and sigma 2 square is not given. Instead of that, the whole population standard deviation is given. That is, sigma is equal to 11. That means the two samples drawn from the populations having the same or common standard deviation. So instead of sigma 1 square and sigma 2 square, we make use of the value of sigma. So that is the difference between the previous problem with this one. The remaining procedure are the same. So let us now substitute the values for x1 bar, x2 bar and the remaining. So the x1 bar is 200 and x2 bar is 220. So 200 minus 220 over square root of, so instead of sigma 1 square and sigma 2 square, we make use of the value of sigma here, that is 11. So 11 square over plus 11 square over. So and n1 and n2 is, n1 is 100 whereas n2 is 150. So 100 and 150. Here 11 square is common in both two terms, so we have to take it outside. So 200 minus 220 over, if you take it outside of the square root, that is 11, isn't it? Multiplied with square root of 1 upon 100 plus 1 upon 150. So by simplifying, we get 200 minus 220, we get minus 20 over 11. Square root of 1 over 100 is nothing but 0.01, isn't it? Plus, so 1 divided by 150, we get 0.0066, etc. So here I have to take up to 3 decimal places, so 0.007. So 0.007 and adding 0.01 plus 0.007, you get 0.017, and by taking the square root of that value, so you get 0.1303 etc., and we multiply this with 11, you get the value as 1.4342 etc., and you divide this by 20. Here I have to take up to 2 decimal places, so 1.43 only I have to take, so that is equal to minus 20 over 1.43, and you divide this value 20 by 1.43, you get 13.986 etc. Here I have to take up to 2 decimal places, so 13.99, negative 13.99. So my absolute value of z is minus becomes positive 13.99. Next we have to compare this value with the table value. So table value of z at 5% level of significance for a two-tailed test is so the table value of z for 5% level of significance for a two-tailed test is 1.96. And now my calculated value of absolute z, that is 13.99, is strictly greater than my table value of z. That is 13.99 strictly greater than 1.96, isn't it? So here we reject the null hypothesis H0. That means there is a significant difference between the two sample means. Let me show you graphically how this value of z falls in the rejection region. Now let me show you how this calculated value of z falls in the rejection region. So for a standard normal curve, this is what the center. Here we have to take 5% level of significance for a two-tailed test. So definitely the rejection region falls in the two tails of the curve. Here we have to take alpha as 5%, so alpha by 2 is 2.5%. So you know already the area under the curve is exactly 1, that is 0.5 to the left and 0.5 to the right. So our rejection region occupies 0.025 in both left and right side of the normal curve. Also the value of z, the table value of z is z equal to minus 1.96 at this point, and z is equal to plus 1.96 at this point. So if my calculated value is false in this region, means definitely I am going to accept my null hypothesis. So this is my acceptance region. Instead of that, if it falls in this shaded region, that is my rejection region, which means we have to reject the null hypothesis. My calculated value is minus 13.99, that is approximately here, isn't it? Minus 13.99. So it falls in the rejection region, so we have to reject the null hypothesis. Hope you got a clear idea about the test of significance of difference between two means. Thanks for watching. See you again in my next video.